What's happening, guys? Happy Monday. I hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful evening today. And boy, wow, it can't be a quiet day for Manchester United because I was going to do a quick video earlier today just to talk about Harry Maguire potentially leaving, of course. And then there's just been like a tumble and tumble and tumble of news. So big up to everybody in the chat as always. I think we've got a lot to talk about. I'm going to start actually to talk with Aaron Wan-Bissaka. That's what we're going to talk about. But big up everyone in the chat, of course. I have to get my greetings out of the way. Big up to Adam in the chat. Thank you for stopping by. Shout out to Troy Taylor, says big up. Shout out to Abdul Shakur, says let's go. Evening Mina, evening Kristen. I hope you're doing very, very well. But I'm going to start with the most earliest news of the day, and I think a lot of people were actually questioning it on social media, and it was reports that Manchester United have opened talks with the representatives of Aaron Wan-Bissaka over a new contract. Club want to reward the player for upturn in form and now see him as an important member of the squad. Now this was reported by the Beautiful Game podcast. If some of you guys don't know, that's a podcast based in the UK, very well connected, very well respected, so they are a very, very, very reliable source. They were also the podcast that broke the news that Maitland-Niles was signing with Lyon, got there ahead of Fabrizio because they got good relations with some agents in the UK. So I fully do believe that. I'm not too sure how I feel about Aaron Wan-Bissaka potentially getting a new contract. I definitely would rather see how the season pans out between him and Diogo Dalot. The fact that both of them are potentially getting one already has a new contract to 2029, and then Aaron Wan-Bissaka getting an extension. It looks like it's a position that Manchester United are not looking to fill any time soon. But I'm going to talk about the dying topic. I know everybody's dying to talk about it, and boy, am I shocked. Am I shocked. As you guys can see in the title, West Ham put in a double swooping bid for Scott McTominay and Harry Maguire, thought to be around more than £50 million. I saw earlier today there was reports that they might go for Anthony Martial for a loan move. Not sure how that's meant to work out, but I also saw Scamacca has made his move to Atalanta today for €25 million. So it kind of makes sense why they're on the market for a striker. I also have heard, not on social media or anything, but I've heard from people involved, is that Jesse Lingard is probably going to West Ham on a pay cut. He's got offers from their other Premier League teams as well as the MLS. So it looks like it might be a Manchester United reunion at West Ham this season. Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay, and maybe even Jesse Lingard. But 50 million combined bid for the two of them, I must think I don't know if I'm the only person on this planet that thinks that is too low. I don't know if I'm being unfair. I don't know if I'm being overly optimistic. That's not me saying that I overvalue the players, but I think we could get a bit more. I think maybe if it's like 60 to 65 million combined price plus a bunch of add-ons, I would take that. I would absolutely take that. But I feel like 50 million is too low. Big up to Adam, says too low with bare question marks. Yes, I think it's too low. Big up to Troy, says I agree, Mina, it's too low. I definitely think, with the experience that you're getting, both homegrown players, that's a big, big part. Clearly, David Moyes got a thing for his English players. You've just cashed in 105 million, spent about 35 of that on Alvarez from Ajax. You got at least 65. You got at least 65 that you can pay. At least 65. You got 105 million from one transfer. There's absolutely no reason why you wouldn't have the money for it. Take 60 million. I agree. We should accept no less than 60. I genuinely feel like 50 is a bit too low. You guys can hate Harry. I think one thing that I've realised with the whole Harry Maguire fee is that people could dislike Harry Maguire, but sometimes we need to be realistic. Don't let your dislike for the player kind of overshadow what the player should go for or could go for. Now, I'm not saying someone has to buy him for 80 million, because in no place on earth or in this universe is he worth 80 million, because we were the only dumb club that paid that. But I do think if you're saying two senior players with over 100 appearances at club level, Premier League appearances, are worth basically 50 million each, that's you saying that Maguire's worth 30, McTominay's worth 20. I'm sorry, Scott McTominay is not worth 20 million, not in this market. And the key word is this market. I feel like the market is very oversaturated, it's overinflated, and there is no reason why I think Scott McTominay should go for 20 million. Not when I'm seeing, some players going for 40, 50, 60 million at best. At least a light 30, at least a light 35 I think we could get for Scott McTominay. Obviously, Harry Maguire, you lot already know where I stand with Harry Maguire. I said 35 million plus with add-ons. I would take that for Harry Maguire. 40 would be pushing it a bit, but I think when you're combining the two, what you're getting in both players, senior players at international level, senior players at club level, they've got a heap of Premier League experience, whether we like it or not. These are things that we can sell. Like, this is sellable things that we can use. When it comes to selling someone like Fred, it might be a bit different. Fred's on a 1 year, he's got 1 year left on his contract, he's 30. So those kind of factors play into it. But Scott McTominay, I think we should use some advantages that he has. The Premier League is a physical league, and there's a reason why Jose Mourinho was always playing him, Oli was playing him, even Eric Ten Hag was turning to him in certain situations because of his physicality and his height. So Manchester United should use that to get more money out of West Ham. And obviously we know West Ham's desperate right now, only making their first signing this week, clashing heads between the manager and the sporting director and all that stuff behind it. Sold their biggest player at the club, sold Skamaka. They got money. We should not let them fleece us. Big up to Eric, says big up Queen Minnow. Big up Eric, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Shout out to Best Choice, says hi Minna. Hope you're having a wonderful day. Troy Taylor says we see bum players that go for far more money. 100%. And I just think maybe it's the club's ability to sell. I think, if Anthony Elanga, guys, honestly, if Anthony Elanga went for 15 million, you can't tell me Scott McTominay is 20 million. Not with the senior level experience. This guy's got more first team experience than Anthony Elanga does. Like, you can dislike a player, but please do not let that cloud your judgment of the transfer window. I've seen when West Ham bidded 20 million, I saw people saying, I saw people saying that they would pay, Manchester United should pay clubs 20 million to take Harry Maguire off their hands. And I get his banter sometimes, but guys, let's be realistic in this situation. And bear in mind, the more money we make from these sales, the more we can reinvest into the club for the transfer window. And I'm going to come onto that because we've been linked to more signings. And of course, expected bid for Amrabat is probably going in this week. Big up Dead and Gone says 50 is bargain basement settings, 60 to 65 plus add-ons. Shout out to Adam, says I think 60 million for both is fair, 30 million each. Apparently Fab said we would go for Todibo if we sell Maguire. Of course we're going to come on to Todibo because I think he was our third choice centre back in this transfer window. Shout out to Abdul Shakur, says Maguire for 30 million I think is okay, but Scott McTominay for less than that is too low. I think McTominay should go for 30 to 35 million. So about everybody is kind of, I think, on the same level in terms of the combined fee. Everyone's saying 60, 65. I think 70 plus is us kind of pushing it. Being a bit overly optimistic. Big up to Ricardo, says hi Queen Mina. Big up to Ricardo, I hope you're having a wonderful evening. But of course, some more news about the Harry Maguire bid from Fabrizio Romano about an hour ago said that West Ham and Manchester United are in direct contact specifically over the Harry Maguire deal. 30 million bid has been sent today, so the clubs are talking, but no contact has been made on the players' side. Talks will continue as there's more Premier League clubs interested in Maguire. I need to know who the other clubs are. Do you think it's all mid-table teams that are interested in him? Do you think there's any top 6, top 8 team that could be interested in him? Because I can't lie, and I might be a bit controversial here, I don't think Harry Maguire is Manchester United caliber player, but I think some teams could probably get better out of him in a system that works more towards him, that's more favourable towards him. Us playing with a high line does not work. I think in a defensive structure where, they might sit a lot and just hit counters, I think he would actually be a good defender for that option. So I do think if there's any clubs, I would say maybe the old Burnley, not this new Burnley under Vincent Kompany, but I definitely think that if there's other Premier League clubs involved, it's definitely like the lower half teams. Yeah, here you go. Wolves, Everton, Spurs. I definitely think Everton. He would be perfect for Dyche Ball. Imagine, guys, imagine a centre-back pairing of Harry Maguire, yeah, and Michael Keane. Dare I say it, Michael Keane is the better centre-back out of the two. Dare I even say it. Dare I even say it. Michael Keane is the better centre-back out of the two. Both of them, Manchester United, I would say veterans or whatever you want to call it. But that would be the funniest centre-back pair with Jordan Pickford behind them. That is so jokes. Big up to Michael Keane because I actually interviewed him. He's a proper nice guy. He's a good defender. I think you saw the screamer that he scored last season against Tottenham Hotspurs. But I just think that's a wild back line. With Pickford behind, you got Onana in front. Who else is in their midfield? It's Iwobi, Onana, Idris Gueye. Oh, they got Danjuma now. It would be literally, that team is just sit deep and counter. That's literally Sean Dyche football at its best. So I wouldn't be surprised if Everton are in for it. Obviously, I don't think Everton have actually signed a player for a big fee. And when I say big fee, I mean like 30, 40, 50 million. Obviously, this is a team that's A, just finished fighting relegation, and B, just finishing building their new stadium that will be coming, I think after next season, it will start to be, after this season, it will start to be used. So we don't even know if they got the money like that. They got Arnott Danjuma on a loan. I know that. I saw reports today Manchester United are looking at Amadou Onana, their midfielder, as well as Tyler Adams from Leeds. So I'm not sure if that's alternatives to Amrabat. And also, guys, I should actually mention this because this is just before I went live. Paul Joyce from the Times, I know a lot of Liverpool fans that I know use him as their main source of news, has said that there is interest in Romeo Lavia from Manchester United. Now, I don't know if that's actually legit, after Liverpool just had a third bid rejected today for £45 million. Obviously, Southampton's holding out for 50 million plus. I don't know if this is when our name was being used in the Caicedo thing so that we could get Mason Mount. I'm not too sure. I'm honestly not too sure about that one, because from what I've known and what I've heard all the time, that Manchester United, they're all in. You know, like when you're betting and you got your chips, they're all in for Sufyan Amrabat, and they're expected to put in a bid this week. Obviously, a lot of it was riding on Rasmus Højlund, but also on Donny van de Beek's exit, which is looking more and more likely as the day goes on, as well as Fred. But I think they've caught life. I think Manchester United have now caught life, because if they can get Harry Maguire and Scott McTominay both out of the door and a reasonable fee, then they can go and do a double swoop for two players, a midfielder and a centre-back. And I'm going to come on to that topic about Todibo. I keep seeing people calling him Todibo. Everyone's just remixing his name. But talking about Todibo, I'm a bit skeptical about getting him. Not because I don't know much about him. I know quite a bit about him. And I've read a lot of analyses and watched a few videos of him. But the reason why I'm a bit skeptical about this signing, because he's clearly not our first and second option. We were originally interested in Kim Min-jae, ended up going to Bayern Munich. And then obviously there was reports that our next option was Axel Disasi, who has now gone to Chelsea. Can I just say, guys, Chelsea do their transfers so quick. I hear about them being linked to a player, and then within like 2 days, I see the Chelsea Twitter account posting a picture of them holding up the shirt. It happened with Axel Disasi, and it happened with Sanchez. I didn't even know Sanchez joined Chelsea. I knew they bidded for him, and the bid was accepted. But I swear, from when they bidded for him, the bid getting accepted, doing his medical, and then announcing him, I swear it was 24 hours. It felt like it was 24 hours. And I feel like they just get their transfers done so quickly. But obviously, Axel Disasi is another centre-back that we are linked to. And now it looks like we are going to go for Todibo if we go for a centre-back. Is a third choice option really a bad thing? No, it just means that I think the scouting department have done a good enough job to have multiple different options, and it's clearly players that are quite similar in playing styles. I don't know about the price tag around it, because you know there's not really much substance to the news about Todibo. It's just that we are interested in him. Is it 30, 40, 50 million? Because I think Axel Disasi went for like 43 million or something like that. So it'll be interesting to know about that. I think there's other options United could look at. I think Castello Luqueba at Lyon is going to be one of the best centre-backs. He's going to be one of the best centers. It's a given. Mohamed Simikan at RB Leipzig, another good option, quite tall. He's really tall, actually. I think he's like 6'5" or 6'4". It's just he's not as physical as you'd want a centre-back to be, but he's good in the air and very good on his feet, progressing the ball, all of that kind of stuff. And then obviously there's Todibo. Can I just say, the French just produce centre-backs like it's water. Like, they actually I cannot, every time, I research a centre-back and I'm like, ooh, this person could be a good option for Manchester United. Bam, they're French. And I'm like, damn, the French could have a starting 11 of centre-backs and it would be a very good starting 11. Not saying they'd score or they win, but just like on paper, it'd be a very good starting 11 of centre-backs. Big up to El Jamo, says, Maguire won't agree to leave if Greek... You had to mention that. If Greek bar owners don't know he's Man United's captain, what chance will they have if he is only a West Ham player? That was a funny one. That's a funny one. I'll give you that. Big up to Pyramid Scheme, says big up Mina and the gang doing some coding while listening. Look at you being effective, working hard. Look at that. For 70 million, throw in Martial. I'm going to come to that because obviously we know about the Martial stuff today. Adam says, and they say Murto madness. I think that's in reference to Chelsea being quick with it when it comes to their transfer window. I can't trust a man whose name is cleared to Martial who's cleared to Marshall a backline. If you know what I mean. I do know what you mean. On the topic of course, I think the biggest news today is this Harry Maguire, Scott McTominay talk. Sky Sports, I can't ever say his name. Is it Chef? I can never say his name. But the reporter, Darmish Chef, if that's how you say it. Apologies if that's not how you say it. But he reported about 20 minutes ago that West Ham will push. They're all in for Scott McTominay, and of course the joint bid from West Ham is 50 million combined plus a little bit more. We don't know exactly what the base fee is and then all the add-ons, and then of course there's rumours that West Ham are looking at Tony Martial as a loan option for the season. Now, can I just say, it wouldn't be the first time that a Manchester United player has gone on loan to West Ham and revived his career. Can I just say that? Yeah, that's all I have to say, guys. That's not me saying that he will go and revive his career. I'm just saying it's not the first time that has happened. However, my biggest concern about all of that is that he went on loan to Sevilla, couldn't really do much, struggled to even stay fit even, and then come back. Still hasn't played a 90 minutes, sorry. And you guys know, yeah, I'm never player FC, except for Paul Pogba, shout out to my guy. But I'm never player FC. But I have some sympathy for Martial, and I'm gonna tell you guys why. And I think I addressed this about a year ago on United View. I said I felt bad for him because he was run into the ground by previous managers. He even spoke about it, I think it was an international break back in like September. He did an interview talking about his time under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and how mentally it was so difficult because his body was breaking down and the manager was just pushing for him to play every game and he couldn't say no. And, you know, as a result, he feels like that season under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has impacted him injury-wise to be where he is today. And for that reason, I feel sorry for him because in the instance when you want your body to do something and it's not listening to you, I can't imagine the mental drainage that it has on you, especially as an athlete when you want to perform at the highest level. Forget being a footballer, just being an athlete in general, whether you're a basketballer, whether you're a long distance runner, a sprinter, whatever you are, if you cannot get your body to cooperate with you, I think mentally it has a horrible impact on the player. And I think we see it firsthand with Anthony Martial. I know a lot of people want him out. I think he should leave. I think it's getting to a point where, you know, he doesn't benefit the club and the club doesn't benefit him, but, you know, the wages he gets, which if I was getting that, I wouldn't mind, you know, sitting on the bench all the time and being on the injury list, whatever. But aside from, his issues, aside from the fact that people want him to leave, I do feel bad for him. I actually feel a bit bad for him. And I felt like this about Marcus Rashford before he got his shoulder injury under Ralph Rangnick. I felt sorry for him. I felt sorry for Paul Pogba. I remember that season he popped off. I think it was the 2018 season. And I felt kind of sorry for him because his body was breaking down on him. Even now, a lot of footballers have that issue. They might normally have it at a later stage in their career, like in their 30s. But these are young men. These are players who should, like Anthony Martial at this age, should be approaching. He should be in his prime. Instead, he can barely get 90 minutes in a game. And I can't lie, I think the West Ham move is a bit of clickbait. There's no way David Moyes is looking at Anthony Martial rotting away on Manchester United's injury list and thinks, yeah, I want a bit of that. I want a bit of that. There's no way they can think that unless they feel like he can be like an option off the bench, 20 minutes a game. They got Antonio, whatever. Unless that's like fully their thought process, I cannot comprehend any other reason why they would want Anthony Martial. Big up to Palmeiras, says, yes, Mina, big love. Big up Palmeiras. Hope you're having a great evening. I was about to say great day, but it's evening time. Big up to SJ, says, I have sympathy for all the players who were badly affected during the Oli era. 100%. And also bear in mind that the Oli era fell hand in hand with the pandemic. I don't know if any of you, and I know quite a lot of us, I know quite a lot of people had COVID. So if you've had COVID, and I know players had COVID as well. If you had COVID, trust me, I know people that they're not even athletes, but they have not recovered from COVID. And when I say not recovered, I mean they've recovered and they don't like sneeze and they're not sick and all of that stuff, but they have something called long-term COVID, which is where their body is impacted long-term by COVID, whether it's their autoimmune diseases, whether it's prolonged fatigue, whether it's their lung capacity is not as big as it used to. I can't imagine as an athlete if they caught COVID, what happened, because you can recover, but the impact of it can stay with you forever because it's a respiratory illness. And this is, like I said, no way me making excuses, but sometimes I just feel sorry for footballers that get injured the way that they do, have like consistent injuries impacting them, and people think like they're not actually trying. You know what bothers me, and you guys know I got personal beef with this guy, is Brandon Williams. I ain't got personal beef with him, but example is Brandon Williams, who's, I don't even think he's on the injury list like last season, but he's just coming to training, doing balloons in his car on his way to training, trains, and that's it. Like, he don't even want to fight for a spot in the team. He's comfy where he is, and we can't even offload him now. Like, I've heard nothing about United bidding for United putting him on a transfer list, bids coming in for him. We don't know nothing. We do not know nothing. Beep, beep, beep. Yes, guys, I know, man. If it's not sirens, then it's beeping. It's one or the other. It is one or the other. Sorry, I'm late, Mina. I had to do my homework before I was loud on YouTube. How old are you? Are you a child? But make sure, why are you doing homework in the summer holidays? Basketballer disgrace cheat. Do you guys remember, if any of you lot watch NBA, do you guys remember when what's that guy called, the guy that coughed, the one guy that had COVID and just rubbed up on all the mics, and then they ended up suspending the league. I forgot what his name is. Rudy Gobert, innit? That's his name, Rudy Gobert, whatever they call him. Rub it up on every time I think of the NBA and COVID, that's what I remember. I've had COVID, unfortunately I've recovered. I've had COVID twice. I don't know, my body just was attracted to COVID. COVID free since 2019. I've had COVID twice, and let me just say, it's not a nice experience, guys. COVID is a horrible, horrible experience. I still can't get over the pic of Williams with the balloons in his car. Unserious candidate. He is an unserious candidate, and that's why I feel sorry for players that try, in comparison to the players that clearly are just comfortable rotting away on the bench or whatever, whatever you want to call it. I feel bad for Anthony Martial. Do I think he's actually going to go to West Ham? No. I think that they are using him. It's funny because, guys, I'm gonna read this out loud because it comes back to the transfer discussion here about I put a tweet out earlier this evening, yeah, that said West Ham have put in a joint bid for McTominay and Maguire over 50 million. By the way, if you don't follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on Twitter at MinaFootball, same as all my socials online. And I said, would you take it or would you ask for more? And guys, a lot of people actually saying that they would not take it. I think only 2 people have said they would take it out of the people that have replied to me. Someone said 60, someone said that's ridiculous, someone said I'd take it in a heartbeat, someone said I'm taking it with add-ons, someone said take that and run. And then someone else made a very valid point and said for a club that just earned 105 million or whatever, surely anything between 75 80 million for 2 players is fair enough. I think a big part of the price tag, one thing I hope Manchester United do, I hope Manchester United don't do is allow them to make it seem like it's a transfer for both players. And the reason why I'm saying that is because I feel like they could be like, oh yeah, well 25 for Harry and 25, his name's not even Harry, 25 for Jacob and 25 for Scott, 50 million, and then 10 million combined add-ons. Whereas if you were to actually value the players separately, I think you would get a lot more. I think Jacob, we could easily get 35 to 40 million, in my honest opinion. I genuinely think 35 million base fee is a reasonable price tag for Jacob. If some of you guys don't know, Jacob is Harry Maguire. His name is actually Jacob Harry Maguire, so I call him Jacob. Because I ain't calling him Harry, clearly that's his middle name, so I'm calling him by his first name. So I think 35 million base, and if you could get like 10 million when in add-ons with reasonable achievable stuff, and I'm not saying Ballon d'Or, Champions League, all of that stuff, I'm saying any sort of silverware. So if it's an FA Cup, Carabao Cup, if it's Europa League, whatever, do I think West Ham are going to win the Europa League? Absolutely not. I think Brighton have a very good chance. Brighton might be my 2nd or 3rd team that I'm going to watch a lot more in the Premier League, especially because my guy Mohamed Kudus, I'm so angry, guys. I am so angry that Mohamed Kudus is going to Brighton, but I'm glad that he's not going to a top 6, and it is what it is. But I think Harry Maguire, we could easily get 35 plus about 10 million add-ons, reasonable add-ons. I'm talking like 100 Premier League appearances, that kind of stuff. Those kind of add-ons, we could get that. Scott McTominay, I think out of the 2 of them, maybe we could get more for Scott. Bear in mind, how much did Gordon go for to Newcastle? I'm sorry, did he not go for like 60 million? If I'm not wrong, Gordon went for like 60 million. So there's no reason why we shouldn't be able to do that. Let's see what the chat is saying. Brandon Williams secured the bag and is chilling. He better figure it out. Listen, when all is said and done, Brandon Williams wins. Honestly, I can say all I want about Brandon Williams, but Brandon Williams wins at the end of the day because he's making his money. His job is just to go and train. And that's it. He's chilling. Gordon went for 45 million. If Gordon can go for 45 million, is it blasphemous for me to say that Scott McTominay should go for 50? Guys, is it actually maybe it is a bit blasphemous. It could be a bit blasphemous. Maybe he could go for the same price. I don't think it's that outrageous to say he should go for the same price as Gordon goes for. I think Gordon's ceiling maybe is a bit higher, but Gordon is actually not a bad player. He's actually pretty decent. But I wouldn't say he's world-class settings. So if he can go for 45 million, and that kid at Liverpool that went for like 20-ish million to what's that kid called? The little kid that they hyped up. Big up to Pyramid says, Mina, why are you like this? You agree, you greedy so-and-so. Jacob is dead. Not even worth £5. Why is my fan base like this? Come on, guys. I know that you guys don't like Harry Maguire. Sorry, Jacob. I know you guys don't like Jacob, yeah? But sometimes, please do not make your strong dislike cloud the fact that we're getting robbed, that we're getting finessed. Like, honestly, like, please, guys, and I'm pleading with you guys at this point, yeah. I'm genuinely pleading with you guys because I know this Maguire situation is becoming very toxic. Like, from time he made an error the other day, on yesterday's last preseason game, and he was getting booed every time he touches the ball. He will probably get booed every time he plays. But I genuinely think that everyone is letting their dislike for him, the fact that they hate him so much and they do not want him at Manchester United, agree to us selling him for a crazy, like a ridiculous price. We should milk teams as much as we get milked. Bear in mind, yeah, Harry Maguire, you might not agree with the fact that he's not, you might not agree that he's Manchester United worthy, you know, he's not good enough to play for the club, he's, you know, a bit old school, all of that kind of stuff, guys. We need to do to other clubs what clubs do to us. Declan Rice went for 105 million, yeah? A lot of English players go for ridiculous prices. Why can't we sell English players for ridiculous prices? Why can't we do that? When they do it, it's okay, but when we do it, it's a problem. Like, come on, we need to play the transfer market at its own game. And that's why I'm saying, as much as I don't rate Jacob, Harry Maguire, and as much as I don't think he's a good enough player, I think he's got enough selling points for us to get more than 30 million for him. You know? That's enough selling points. Like, West Ham need to look at this and be like, wow, when England go to the Euros, who they putting on their social media? Declan Rice? Absolutely not. They ain't putting Declan Rice all over their social media, but they got Harry Maguire. They got Harry Maguire to put all over their social media because he's going to be going to the Euros for England. So I genuinely think he has enough selling points for us to get more than what they've offered. I think 30 million is a good place to start, but I think we should get a little bit more. We just need to play the market at its own game. McTominay is a 40 million player. I don't think that's blasphemous. I can't lie, I do not think that's blasphemous. Minaman, you're adding zest to Jacob's name. Nah, the day that I found out that Harry Maguire's name was not Harry Maguire, I was thinking, what else is he lying to us? He lies to the Greek police. He lies to us about his name. What else is he lying about? What else is he lying to us about? Is he actually the age that he says he is? Has anyone actually seen his birth certificate? Is he fake age? Did he actually, you know, I was going to say stuff like, did he actually play for Sheffield United or whatever, but he helped them get relegated. So he helped teams get relegated, so I'm not going to question it. Big up to Leo, says, assuming we don't sell him now, his value goes even lower than 20 million. 30 million is good for Jacob, in my opinion. I think it's a good starting point. I think if we could get a bit more out of it, and I'm not saying a lot more, I'm saying something more in add-ons, maybe 5 million more in the base fee, then I don't think it's the worst fee. Obviously, like I said, there's no club in the world that's stupid like us to spend 80 million on Jacob Harry Maguire, but David Moyes is desperate, guys. The sporting director at West Ham is desperate. I'm telling you, Manchester United should hire me as like a negotiator. I will go into the negotiation room and I will say, listen, you want social media posts during the summer at the Euros? Take Harry Maguire. You can put him all over your socials. People might not like it, but you can still put him there. You know, you want the face of England? You want a player who's one of the faces of England? Someone who's never going to get dropped from the starting team at England? Take him. Guaranteed starter at the Euros. You guys can brag about it. If England ever win the Euros, yep, Harry Maguire took them there. You guys can brag about that. What else? What other selling points? You want 2 homegrown players? McTominay and Maguire. And we'll throw in Anthony Martial on a loan. What else? What other selling points do you guys think Harry Maguire has? Like, because I'm trying to think about it. Premier League experience. The guy's got Premier League experience. Let's be honest. As much as we don't like him, it might not be good experience. It's like me saying I got experience working in Costa. I could get a job, guys, in Starbucks, yeah? And I come to the job interview and I say I got experience working in Costa. I'm not going to tell them that I used to spill people's drinks all the time in Costa. But I am going to tell them I got experience in Costa. I'm going to tell them I used to work in Costa. I got experience. I know how to make drinks. I'm not going to tell them I spill it all the time. I'm not going to say I literally spilt more than I made. But I will tell them that I worked in Costa, and that's a selling point. So he's got first team experience. So does Scott McTominay. It's something that we can sell. And it's something we could get more for. I think 50 million base fee for both combined is a bit of an odd one. It's a bit of an odd one. Big up to El Jamo, says, I'm not saying sell him for peanuts. I'm asking for 2 boxes of beef hula hoops. I don't even eat beef. So I wouldn't even ask for that. I would just give it out to people in the street. But that's rude to say you ask for 2 boxes of beef hula hoops. That's like £6 in Costco. You can get a box for like £6. So you're saying £12 is what you're selling Harry Maguire for. Big up to Lil Yo-Yo says, are you saying Jacob is doing the African thing and lying about his age? I ain't saying he's lying. I'm just saying we need to check. No one's ever questioned it. But, you know, he's lied to us about a few stuff. Big up to Mike in the chat. Thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the England game today. New video out about England versus Nigeria in the Women's World Cup. So make sure you guys go check it out. It's like a 5-minute video. So it won't take too much of your time. 60 million for Maguire and McTominay is a take it for me. God damn. Mina would be like, if you don't pay 40 million, wallahi, I'm not giving McTominay. 100%. I'll be saying that. And who's going to stop me? Someone who has nothing to prove. If someone feels like they don't have nothing to prove, then what can you say? It's like you can't tell, like, if someone's saying to you, I have nothing to prove, I'm not gonna lie, yeah, it's, in my language, we have a word for it, it's basically hard-headedness, but sometimes you can't talk people out of hard-headedness, and that's, I think, one negative. I think there's bare negatives about Jacob, don't get me wrong, but I'm saying that we should use the positives, the minimal positives that he has. This is just rude. This is actually just rude. I'm not even going to read it. I'm just going to pin it so you guys can read it yourself. I'm going to look away whilst you guys read it as well. But I think that's just that's kind of mean. I'm not saying I agree, but we've got offices in London. Deal can get done in a day like tomorrow. Quagmire blowing bubbles. Like, what's wrong with you guys? Guys, don't be so mean. Come on. Selling points for Jacob. He can keep food cold. You guys are actually so funny. Oh my god. Nah, why you keep calling Jacob? His name is Jacob, guys. Don't let them... Guys, if you don't believe me, please go on Wikipedia right now, yeah? I'm gonna go on Wikipedia. Hold on. Harry Maguire. Do not let the man lie to you. His name is Jacob Harry Maguire. Like, it's as simple as that. So I'm gonna call him Jacob because that's his real name. Is Harry his middle name? I guess so. Why did he choose to go by Jacob? Yeah. Why did he choose, to go by Harry rather than Jacob? That's what I want to know. I'm sure there might be an interesting story. Like, he gives me the kind of vibe that he changed his own first name. That's the kind of vibe that I get from him. That he changed his own first name just because he felt like it. He's got a brother. He's got two brothers who are footballers. And look at this. He's got a brother, yeah, who's a footballer. He plays... What league is this? This brother plays in some dead league. He plays in the National League North, whatever level that is. I think that's like level 25,754. That's very low level. But his brother is called Lawrence Henry Maguire. Does he go by the name of Henry Maguire? No, he doesn't. Job done, guys. Job done. He's the only one that goes by his middle name in comparison to his siblings. So why? Why is that? We need to get to the bottom of it, guys. We need to get to the bottom of it. Slabby Maguire. Damn. I think Jacob sounds better. You probably changed our Wikipedia. I don't even know how to change stuff. I don't know how to change stuff on Wikipedia. I wish I did, guys. You don't know the stuff I would do. Is it not a criminal offense to change stuff on Wikipedia? Because if it's not a criminal offense, I might take up a new hobby. Plays for Chesterfield or something. His brother he played for Chesterfield, yeah, and then now he plays at AFC Flight. Where are they based? It sounds like a Welsh team, I think. Oh, in Lancashire, yeah. So they're in the National League, which is that not the league that Wrexham? Yeah, that's the league that Wrexham came up from. Is that the league that low-key Harry should be in? Sorry, Jacob. Nah, let's call him Yaqub from now on. Should we call him Yaqub from now on? No, I ain't calling him Yaqub. I ain't calling him that. He don't deserve to have that name, guys. This is where I draw the line. I may have been defending him, saying that we could sell him for, you know, a bit more, saying that we should use his selling points to get a bit more money in the transfer. But this is where I draw the line. I am not calling him Yaqub. I'm definitely not calling him Sheikh Yaqub, because he doesn't deserve that title. I'm just gonna continue to call him. I ain't even gonna call him Jacob. I'm just gonna call him Cobb. But guys, I might end up down a wormhole and regarding this, because now I'm very curious. And me, when I get curious, I go and do some digging. Mina's gonna end up diving in Maguire's trash, trying to uncover the truth. Going Scooby-Doo on Jacob's actual life. Fed's gonna come knock on your door now. If you lot hear the sirens, you already know. You already know what it is. But I think we're gonna wrap it up there in terms of talking about Maguire and Scott McTominay, because on more positive news. On more positive news, and I'm gonna come back to it because it seems like Manchester United are making moves for a contract extension for Wan-Bissaka. Like I said earlier in the stream when I first started off, this is from the Beautiful Game podcast, and I know a lot of people have actually, it's crazy because you know what's sad? A lot of people, I hate on social media, if it doesn't come from Fabrizio or David Ornstein, I hear it, you guys don't trust it, but you shouldn't question some people's legitimacy when it comes to their sources, because the Beautiful Game podcast, guys, is a reliable source. You heard it from me. It's a reliable source because they have a lot of connections in the UK community when it comes to football, especially the ethnic minority community. If you go watch their interviews, they interview a lot of players on their platform. Like I said, they were the first to break them Maitland-Niles news that he was going to Lyon on a free. So they've reported today. I think it's 3 guys that have the podcast. They reported today saying Manchester United have open talks with the representatives of Aaron Wan-Bissaka over a new contract. Club want to reward him for upturn in form and now see him as an important member of the team. Now, I just want to see when his initial contract actually expires. That's what you know me, I'm a curious person, innit, guys? So I want to see when his initial contract expires. He's on a 5-year deal to 2025, so he's got 2 years left on his deal. I don't know how I feel about that because, like I said, I think Wan-Bissaka is a good defender, but that just shows to me that Manchester United have no interest in changing up that position. It looks like we'll be going with Dalot and Wan-Bissaka, and even, guys, dare I say it, could that be our liability coming into the next couple of seasons? Diogo Dalot got a contract extension to 2029. If Wambi gets an extension, he's probably going to be staying until 2028. I see no way. Big Up to Pyramid said that means Dalot needs to cut. He signed his contract. He ain't going anywhere. Diogo Dalot on this list, 2029 contract. He's on a 5-year deal, meaning he's staying until he's 29 years old. Wan-Bissaka will be staying until he's about probably... I'm just speculating, by the way, guys, about the terms of the contract. But I anticipate if they give him a contract extension, Wan-Bissaka is 25 as well. So he will probably get, 4 years? 29, 30 maybe. He might get a long-term deal. I'm actually interested to see what this breaks down into because I can see their yearly salaries. So annually, Aaron Wan-Bissaka currently makes 23 million. I don't know how much that. I need to see what that breaks into in weeks. What? That cannot be real. Sorry. There you go. Divided by 52. That can't be real. This cannot be real because this is saying to me that he makes 400k a week. That's a lie. That's a lie. It can't. That cannot be legit. Maybe I'm looking at the wrong thing. Maybe it's his contract is worth that much over the course of, his contract is worth that much over the course of his 5-year contract. Guys, I nearly had a little heart attack there for a second. Guys. My bad. That was fake news. That was fake news, guys. That was fake news, okay? It was just a little mishap on my end. I need to ask for weekly. I'm looking at it annually based on their number of years that they have plus okay, can you show? Okay, here you go. I got the weekly one. He's on 90k a week, guys. He's on 90k a week. And it's really funny because Diogo Dalot actually is on less than Wan-Bissaka. So are you telling me that there's possibility that Wan-Bissaka could be on more than Diogo Dalot and might not even play as much? I'm really interested to see how the rotation works out this season for the pair of them. I think Eric Ten Hag did say, I think it was in yesterday's press conference, he said coming into the Premier League next week, first game of the season, he said that there's 2 spots in particular that it's not locked down. Nobody has that locked down, and I think right back is probably one of them, and I'm not sure what the other position is. Could it be right wing? You know, because with the experiment of Bruno out on the right hand side, is that looking like Mason Mount can be in the 10? That could allow maybe Casemiro and someone else in the middle. It's really curious. It makes me very, very curious. I think if Wan-Bissaka extends, it might be like a 2 to 3 year deal. Hope that he performs well and then sell him or Diogo Dalot. I'm just very interested at the fact that it looks like after for so long United, people were saying we need a right back, we need a right back. We're linked to Malo Gusto. He ended up going to Chelsea. And now it looks like we ain't even going to get a right back. And we are going to stick it out for the foreseeable couple of years with Diogo Dalot and Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I think it's well deserved for Aaron Wan-Bissaka. I think if Dalot got an extension, he definitely deserved to get one too. But it just makes me wonder, is that something that basically... Is Ten Hag okay with the fact that he can improve Aaron Wan-Bissaka as much as he tries? Big up to Leo, says Bruno on the right is already pain. Honestly, the experimenting that we're going to see this season, guys, brace yourself, because I know that Ten Hag doesn't like to rotate a lot, but I do think with injuries, suspensions, etc., he might be forced to try out new stuff. For example, Jadon Sancho, we've seen him playing in the false nine. Could we see that on opening week against Wolves? I would not be surprised, if I'm being honest, if we saw Jadon Sancho in the false nine. We already know Rasmus Højlund is probably not going to play. I don't think Anthony Martial is going to play. Are we going to see Rashford up top? See Garnacho maybe getting starts? I actually don't know. I know there's still a bit to, happen in terms of the transfer window. Amrabat, guys, I told you guys, Sufyan Amrabat bid incoming this week. I think it says it somewhere down there. Amrabat bid incoming this week, starting around 23 million euros. So when you hear it from Fabrizio or David Ornstein, then you guys know that you guys heard it here first. You guys know that you heard it here first. Mina, what do you think of Tyler Adams from Leeds? The guy is good. I was really impressed with him in the Premier League last season, but I was more so impressed with him during the World Cup for USA. I think he was really good, especially that game against England. He was really, really impressive. We've been linked to, obviously, Tyler Adams. We've been linked to Onana. Obviously, we've now been linked to Romeo Lavia. And obviously, Sufyan Amrabat. Caicedo, I think that's done. We are not getting him. Brighton are holding him hostage for 100 million. I'll be shocked if even Chelsea get him. But it will be very interesting if we get a player from Leeds. It will be very interesting. I do think we are all in for Sufyan Amrabat. I think this is just alternative options for us. But he can play in the Prem. We already know that. He's very capable of doing so. Depends on the price tag, because you see what Southampton are doing with Lavia. They're holding out for 50 million. I've never seen a championship team turn down 45 million after they've just been relegated and they've had to sell players in their team. It's kind of ridiculous. It's the power of English football, guys. Don't let anybody ever tell you that English football is not powerful, because if this was in Spain and it was like the second league in Spain and they were turning down 10 million, I think they're willing to sell players for. 15, 20, 45 million, you're turning down a bid. Obviously, you value the player at that price, so I hear it. But I find it kind of crazy. That they're turning that down. But big up to Najib for that question. I like Adams. I think he's a good player, but I think we're just maybe looking at him as maybe as an alternative if we do not get Amrabat, and if you want to go for someone that's experienced in the Premier League. Big up to Lil Yo-Yo, says, if we sell McTominay, Van der Beek and Fred, do you think Amrabat plus one more will happen? Yeah, I think that would, I think because we'll be light in midfield. We've sold Charlie Savage. This is not me saying Charlie Savage would have played, but we've sold Charlie Savage. We've sold Zidane Iqbal. Kobbie Mainoo's out until at least January. So we will be light in the midfield. So I think Man United will be forced to go and buy another player, and maybe that's why we're looking at other players like Amadou Onana. I think his name's Amadou. It's not Andre Onana, because we got Andre Onana. It would be really cool if we had two Onanas on our team. That would actually be very, very cool. But we've been, linked to looking at Onana from Everton, Tyler Adams, Lavia, and then obviously Amrabat, which you guys know about. So I would not be surprised if we let all three of those go, and we end up getting two midfielders, guys. Because what's crazy to me is coming into the transfer window, especially with like all the doubts lingering about the sale of the club, the Glazers, all of that kind of stuff. I thought we'd get maybe 4 players maximum in. We've already got 3 and the season hasn't even started. The women's team, I should make a whole different video on that, because that's just pure negligence happening to the women's team when it comes to transfers. But on the men's side, it seems like they've really been active in getting those deals done, and it looks like we could possibly have 6, maybe even 7 transfers coming in one window. I don't think anybody kind of anticipated that. I definitely did not. I predicted 6 to come in, not gonna lie. Lil Yo-Yo anticipated it, but I didn't anticipate it. I think 6, if you had told me FA Cup, when we lost the FA Cup final, that we'd get 6 people in, I would have been like, nah. If you told me we'd get a goalkeeper in, I would have been like, nah. I wouldn't have seen that happening, but it happened. I think out of the 3 of those players listed below in this comment, if we sell McTominay, Van der Beek and Fred, I think Van der Beek and Fred, are the most obvious ones. I didn't think McTominay would go, but it seems like we for the right price McTominay will leave, and I genuinely thought McTominay would stay because A, homegrown talent, B, we need the numbers in the midfield. But if we do part ways with all 3 of them, then I can imagine that we end up getting 2 midfielders, which we definitely need. I think the last thing we want is to be light in that midfield position. I think what might help, I forget we got Eriksen, guys. I actually forget sometimes that we got Eriksen. Because if you think about that midfield, we've got Casemiro, Eriksen. Mount can play there as a partner to Casemiro. A bit more accelerated forward, but he can still play there. Bruno can play there. We've seen him play deep. And then if we get Amrabat, I say maybe another midfielder, we'd be all right in that position, in the hopes that we don't get injuries happening left, right, centre, and centre. We've signed 2 so far, Mina. The fuck you mean 3? Did you skip math class? I actually got an A star. In maths. I'm lying. I got an A. I got an A star in English. We got 3 signings. We've signed Onana, Mount, and Højlund. We've signed Onana, Mount, and Højlund. But of course, here's his reasoning. Big up to Pyramid Scheme. Says, who is the Mount you speak of? I renounce him in the name of Fergie. I've seen, and I want to hear you guys' thoughts on this, because this is not me comparing the 2 or anything, because you guys already know where I stand on transfers. I will give them time to evolve into the team, to, like, you know, get their foot in, learn, all of that kind of stuff. I will give them a year or 2 max, in terms of, I've given Sancho 3, but you lot already know where I stand with the new signings this season. I said I'm going to let them just settle into the team, but I saw a debate online, I think it was yesterday or this morning, it might have been yesterday, I think. I saw a debate that was comparing Mount to Jesse Lingard, and somebody was saying, I think it was on TikTok, I don't even think it was on Twitter, I think it was on TikTok, and someone was saying that to them, there's no difference between what Mason Mount offers Manchester United and what Jesse Lingard used to offer Manchester United. You know, that spark of energy, the legs in midfield, running, all of that stuff. Do you guys agree, or do you guys not agree? Now, I know a lot of people are not fond of the Mount deal. I think for the price tag on a player that's got a year left on his contract, it's very questionable. But you lot already know where I stand with that. I'm going to give him time. Come December, I will look back on the first half of the season. Sorry, come January, I'll look back on the first half of the season, analyse how he's done, and just give him time. But I've seen people comparing him to Jesse Lingard, and I'm like, damn, that's a bit harsh. Shout out to Jesse Lingard. Because I'm very upset with the way his career panned out at Manchester United. I remember when he scored that winner in the FA Cup. I remember that, and he backed off his shirt. That he's given us good memories, but we can't be sentimental FC. And I really think Man United handled that situation wrong. I remember he addressed it on the Diary of a CEO podcast, or whatever it's called, when he said that he wanted to leave in the summer. United had offers for him and they turned it down without even consulting him on it. So I feel kind of bad for the way, you know, it panned out. Never got to say bye to the fans, all of that stuff. But I think comparing Mount and him is a little bit harsh. And why is he even number 7 man? You never know. He could break the curse. that curse that everybody speaks about. I'm side-eyeing the Mount signing. I hope he works. So do I. I think anybody that wants him not to work out, you're a weird fan. I won't judge Anana and Hoyland because I barely watched them. I've seen enough of that backup dancer to know he stinks. From what I've gathered, shout out to Pyramid Scheme. Pyramid Scheme doesn't rate Mason Mount. Shout out to Pyramid Scheme. Doesn't rate Mason Mount. And everyone's entitled to their own opinion. You see, that's the wonderful thing about this channel, guys. Everyone can have their own opinion. And you know what, guys? Talking about opinions, maybe I should make a quick poll in the chat, because I'm thinking of doing like a what's it called, like not like a call-in show, but you can join the stream and drop your opinions on the video, depending on whatever we're talking about. I might do it throughout the season. I'm just trying to, like, between United View and all my freelancing, I'm trying to figure out my scheduling during the season and holidays and all of that kind of stuff. But I will be doing like regular videos. I won't be doing vibe-alongs for United games because, to be honest, I'll probably be at the studio. But I'll be doing post-game stuff. So if you guys are interested in me putting a link in the chat where subscribers can join basically a call-in show, and you guys can have your say, I will do that. I will do that because I want to actually put voices to people's names on here, and also I like to hear people's opinions, which is why I always like to pin people's comments. Big up to Dead and Gone says Lingard and Mount are completely different profiles. The only thing they have in common is energy. Facts. I agree. Big up to Leo says Mount J Ling's ability wise, I think that sign means is better than, greater than, whatever. I got an A in maths, guys, remember that. I disagree. Mount can play deeper and is more disciplined. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so I'm getting a few yeses in the chat, so I'll definitely look to do it throughout the season. I will be doing vibe-alongs for Manchester United women games if I'm not at them. And then obviously men's games, I'll be doing post-match reactions. I'll do build-up stuff, all of that kind of stuff. I think there will be a lot of content coming once the season starts. And of course, the football season actually starts on Friday. So if you guys can see here, there is my FPL code. Make sure you join my FPL league if you want to win a games console at the end of the season, guys. And you know what? I will get the games console if I can get someone to do a collaboration. If I can get a brand to do a collaboration with me or something. And if not, I will get it out of my own pocket, guys. I will give back to the community. If you join the FPL league and you win it, that's the only terms. You have to win the FPL league. I know there's some people that take FPL very, very seriously, and there's some people that just play it for fun, like myself. I sometimes forget to update my teams, but I know people that are sitting there like throughout the entire week, bam, 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 going on Reddit, going on Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, watching videos about who they should put into their team. If that is you, yeah, join my FPL league. And if you win, you can get a games console. But throughout the week, guys, there will be a lot of content, including in 30 minutes time, I'll be going live doing my GM mode on WWE. If you join the first stream, then you know that I absolutely suck at the game. I literally suck, but I'm getting better. I've learned some stuff off stream, and now I'm going to do my GM mode. So I'll go live at 8:15 UK time. Throughout the week, we will have quite a bit of content. Of course, the season starts on Friday. I'll be doing a vibe-along for England versus whoever in the quarterfinals of the Women's World Cup on Saturday morning. I think there's a crossover between that game and the Arsenal and Nottingham Forest game. So I might just do a joint stream for both of them and have both scores on there, watching both, updating both scores, etc., etc. Because to be honest, I watch every Premier League game and I don't want to miss the England game. So there's a lot of content coming this week. Of course, this weekend as well, there will be build up to the Wolves game. So much content, guys, and you guys don't want to miss it. But on that note, thank you guys, everyone, for sticking around for this long. Like I said, I will be going live in about 30-ish minutes after I have my dinner and relax for a bit. And I will just get bullied on WWE. So if you are tired of me winning in FIFA and you would rather see me lose in WWE, I'm going to go to my GM and you guys can actually help me build my roster. From what I understand about my GM is you get to build your own little roster of fighters or wrestlers, whatever, and you could just take over the world. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm here to take over. So if you stick around for then, I will see you guys in 30 minutes. If not, make sure you watch my most recent video just out about an hour before this stream, breaking down England versus Nigeria, talking about the Lauren James red card, the penalty shootout, and all of that stuff. Commiserations to Nigeria. Honestly, heartbroken for them. But make sure you guys like the video, make sure you guys subscribe, and until next time guys, it's your girl Mina. Peace.